welcome to Night Combos. It's Lovey. Hubby has actually gone to bed. It's late. It's after 1 o'clock in the morning, and he has to be up for work in the morning. Okay, I'm sure most of us have heard from Gypsy and her supporters, especially Bree, at some point or another, that DeeDee had the medicine closet in the house on Volunteer Way, the pink house, because she was rugging Gypsy, right? And forcing her to take medications, right? Which all of us over here with a brain knows that's not true. Well, we're going to talk about why DeeDee may have really had that medicine closet, because after hearing and seeing this, we want to know your thoughts on it. Real quick though, I'm sorry if this bothers some people, but hubby and I truly do appreciate every single one of you so very much. We appreciate the few memberships that we have, the few members that we have on our channel. We understand not everyone can get a membership. That's fine, that's okay. Just simply liking our videos and being subscribed, it helps us out so very much. And also hyping our videos helps so much. And we see the comments that y'all are hyping our videos, so thank y'all for that. And thank you so much to all of our subscribers that's been with us from the beginning all the way to now. We truly appreciate every single one of you. And if you're not already, please make sure you subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of our videos. And please don't forget to leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. And we'll be conversating with y'all like always. And we would truly appreciate it so much. So, we saw earlier today that we were tagged in a post over here on TikTok, which thank you so much, by the way, to the person that tagged us in the post. And we were also sent a link to an article from Audrey over here on TikTok. Audrey, not Aubrey, as in Aubrey Strawberry, who is one of the main minions that sits on Bree's panel and soaks in her words like she can't think for her own self. This is Audrey's account right here. If you're on TikTok and you don't follow her, you should go give her a follow. She makes great content. She does really well. It's Chicken Nugget Life 8806. Or you can just type in Audrey, Audrey, and it will pull her account up, and you'll see her picture right here, and you can follow her. So I'm sure most of us, if not all of us, have seen this famous picture right here of DeeDee, Gypsy's mom, that she didn't care about, that she took off this planet. DeeDee had this closet right here in their home on Volunteer Way with medicines in it. We've shown it many times on our channel, but there's not only medicines in it, there's lots and lots of other things in it as well. Like up here at the top, you'll see that there's hospital gowns and blankets. You can see that the shelf below that, right here, that there's a bag of Luden's cough drops, which are over-the-counter cough drops. They really don't even have much medicine in them at all. They taste just like cherries, really. I used to, love these as a kid. Like, not that my mom would let me have them whenever I wanted them, but when I had a cold, my throat's sore. Like she would give me one of these and be like, here, you can suck on this cough drop. It'll help you, type of thing. My mom wasn't over-medicating me or giving me unnecessary medications. Just like DeeDee wasn't giving Gypsy unnecessary medications. But just to give you an idea, this right here is Luden's cough drops that barely has any medicine in it, if any at all. It's really like candy. And then you can see a couple other bottles of medicines. There's 2 bottles of prescription medication here. This big one right here, we've actually looked into, and it is actually a cyclovir. We spoke about that in a previous video, which was titled, Does Gypsy Really Have Herpes? And by the way, we had to title it that way because of YouTube. We couldn't say herpes for whatever reason, because YouTube wouldn't accept it. They're ridiculous with the things they'll accept and that they won't accept. So we meant nothing against anyone about that. We weren't trying to be offensive in the title, on the thumbnail, or in the title or anything like that of that video. Just so that everyone knows. Anyway, this was acyclovir. Not acyclovir, acyclovir. And then there's one other bottle of prescription medication here that we can't make out. But you can tell there's been a little bit taken out of it, out of each bottle, not much. And then the rest of this shelf is over-the-counter stuff. Just like the Luden's cough drops, there's a box of opened gloves right here. Like opened medical gloves right here. And then there's another bottle that looks like over-the-counter. Could be maybe, I don't know, allergy or cough medication, or it could be children's Tylenol is kind of what it looks like. And then over here to the far right in the yellow, it looks like possible maybe foot powder. It's some kind of powder. And then you have these boxes right here that are stacked up. These are actually floaties. That actually, you know, the little round floaties that you blow up and you slide up on your child's arms, like up around their shoulders, where it goes around their arm, right below their shoulder, you know, around their armpit area, when they're going swimming or getting in the water or whatever. They're called little floaties, you know. That's what is in these boxes right here, is unopened floaties. So maybe Gypsy had even more of a happier childhood than we even thought. Maybe she went swimming all the time or something. Who knows? But anyway. And then right here in this green box, that looks like some type of over-the-counter. I mean, it is an over-the-counter medication. Matter of fact, it's the Walmart brand over-the-counter medication of what looks like to be allergy medicine. Other than that, I'm not sure what it might be. Then on the shelf down here below it, you see all these dark bottles over here to the far left. That's actually a prescription mouthwash. It's used when you have any type of dental work done. Sometimes the dentist, like if you have a cavity filled or something like that, or any other type of dental work, sometimes the dentist will prescribe you this special prescription mouthwash to just kind of help keep your mouth more clean and keep the germs and everything out of anything that's opened or open, you know, wounds or cuts or anything like that that's in your mouth. Say you had to have a tooth pulled, for example. I remember when I had to have braces that I had this mouthwash when I was younger. When I was a preteen and had to get braces, I had this mouthwash that I had to use after getting, you know, my teeth pulled. And they told me to use it for about a week. You know, they told me to wait a few days, obviously, because you don't want to break the clot after having a tooth pulled from rinsing your mouth. And swishing something around in your mouth. That's why you can't drink out of a straw or anything like that. And I'm just saying all these extra little details in there for those of you who think that we put too much extra into our videos. I'm just doing that for those who may not know, you know. But anyway, after having a tooth pulled, for example, they'll tell you to wait a couple days so that it can clot, and then you gently, keep your mouth rinsed with this mouthwash here. Okay, you can see that DeeDee had 2 rows of these mouthwashes that were actually unopened, going from the front all the way to the back of this shelf, which is not a very long shelf. It's actually very short. And then there's some other prescription medicines back here that still have the seals on them, and then some other bottles. And you can tell that DeeDee, or Gypsy, it looks more like Gypsy's handwriting, wrote on the bottles what they were. And then this big white bottle here in the middle with the purple top is actually Miralax, which is simply a mild laxative. Sometimes Miralax can be used on babies because it's so gentle. I'm not talking about little babies, but younger babies, younger children, toddlers and stuff who may be constipated. That's what it's used for, because it is very mild and gentle on the stomach. And then to the right of that, it looks like Vicks, like throat spray, when your throat really is sore or hurting or something. The throat spray that you can spray on your throat to numb it. Well, that's what this looks like. And you can see where the wrapper of it is kind of peeled down. So again, it's not a prescription. It's something over the counter. It's a simple throat spray to numb your throat when you have a sore throat, when it's hurting. Right? Okay. Okay, I tried to zoom it in more so that y'all could see it a little bit better. But to the right of this opened throat spray, you can see something clear right here. That's simply medicine cups to measure out liquid medication stacked up. She has a lot of them stacked up because, heck, every time you get a prescription of liquid medication, if you have a child, they add one of these cups on the top of it. Half the time, even if you're an adult, they'll give you one of these, cups to measure out your medication with. And then to the right of that, this gold looking bottle, that's actually vitamins. And then there's more vitamins back behind it. There's another prescription right here to the right of that. And then to the right of that, it looks like another bag of cough drops maybe, or something like that. Then down here on the last shelf down here where all these boxes are, this is a lot of boxes of, again, medical gloves. There's one box with the yellow on it right here that looks like it might be opened. It might not be. There's Kleenexes and medical gloves, just medical supplies, really, that you can't even really use at home other than the medical gloves or anything. And then there's some Vicks Vapor Rub that you can rub on your chest if you have congestion to kind of help you breathe. It's like a menthol rub that you can breathe in the mint to help you breathe. And then you have all these boxes right here. I can't really tell if they're prescription or not, but they look like a lot of creams, probably itch creams bought over the counter. They're probably OTC. Most of this is probably OTC, over the counter. But itch creams, possibly inhalers, but I would say that a lot of this is some type of creams and also band-aids. You can see that some of it is bandages. And then I'm not sure what's right here in the white. That could actually be bars of soap. Who knows? If someone knows, let me know in the comments. It's fine. And then you can see, bottles of other stuff. You can see they have a bottle of peroxide and a bottle of rubbing alcohol. And then down here at the bottom of the closet, it's kind of junky, but they have a bottle of Tylenol, regular acetaminophen, which is Tylenol, and then powders and other things like that. And again, more hospital gowns, Q-tips, and some type of cord. And I'm not talking about like a feeding tube or anything. It looks like some other type of cord or something right there. And then a cardboard box. And you can't really tell if there's anything in it or not. And a heating pad. One more thing before we move on is you have to keep in mind that Gypsy did have actual legitimate medical things wrong with her all growing up. And a lot of it was a bunch of symptoms all the time. And a lot of symptoms on top of symptoms. And she was in the hospital a lot because DeeDee was trying to figure out what is wrong with my baby girl? What is wrong with my little girl? Like any good mother would do, right? She wasn't abusing her or anything like that, medically or otherwise. And you also have to remember that Gypsy did have surgeries done. She had the muscle biopsy done. She had eye surgery done. So that's what could be in some of these boxes down here where we really can't tell what it is eye drops. A lot of times eye drops come over the counter and prescription come in boxes like that, little small boxes like that. But we're fixing to get into why DeeDee may have had so many of these prescription mouthwashes stocked up, so many of these creams, possible eye drops, over-the-counter medications like Tylenol, cough drops, allergy medications, things like that. Okay, now that we went over the medication closet that was in DeeDee's house, DeeDee and Gypsy's house, well, first of all, why do y'all think the lock was on the closet? Do you think it was to keep Gypsy out or to keep it locked up because of what we're about to read? Let us know in the comments down below after you hear what we're about to read. This is the article that we were sent by Audrey. Now y'all can see here at the top it says, sleeves up, hearts open, all in, serving Southern Missouri, American Red Cross. I'm sure a lot of you remember or know that Hurricane Katrina happened in 2005, which is around the time that DeeDee and Gypsy moved to Aurora, Missouri. Yes, Aurora, Missouri, before they got their Habitat for Humanity house in Springfield, Missouri. Okay, I apologize. I had to get up and go take care of something and come back. So I don't know how exactly I left off. But remember, in Hurricane Katrina, obviously with a disaster like that, a lot of people are left not only without food and water, but without medications, important medicines that they need, like insulin, for example, and inhalers, blood pressure medications, mental health medications, those types of things. So during Hurricane Katrina, they learned that the Red Cross and doctors and stuff learned through patients doing this themselves, stockpiling medications, that they needed to be more vigilant about these things, making sure that patients had medicines for emergency situations. So anyway, this American Red Cross article was written on October 23rd of 2013. So 8 years after Hurricane Katrina happened, and still DeeDee was doing this right here. So they interviewed DeeDee, and this is what DeeDee Blanchard herself had to say. For DeeDee Blanchard, there's good reason to plan for a disaster. She is a survivor of Hurricane Katrina. I'm a preparedness person, she says. Even so, she and others were held quote, hostage by the need for prescription medications after Katrina hit. She now has a medicine closet in her house and plans for an emergency. Hear that sentence again. And this is DeeDee speaking herself, and the Red Cross speaking about her interview, saying DeeDee now has a medicine closet in her house and plans for an emergency. Blanchard is one of the residents of the new Habitat for Humanity community north of Springfield Legacy Trails. That says a lot right there, that DeeDee, even 8 years later, even all the way up till she was unalived, was stockpiling medications, and mainly over-the-counter medications for allergies, for colds, for whatever, bandages, extra hospital gowns, extra blankets, clothes, things like that they may need to grab and go in case of an emergency. This is a very short article and it's at the end, so I'll just go ahead and read it for those of you who may not be able to see it. But it goes on to say, Jeffries, Community Resilience Coordinator for the Southern Missouri region of the American Red Cross, recently provided 12 preparedness kits for families in Legacy Trails, as well as briefing the neighborhood association with a guide for mapping the community before a disaster strikes. The mapping involves listing residents in a household along with possible needs and resources, with the goal of more quickly recovering after a local disaster such as a tornado. So if an emergency were to strike or a tornado were to come, anything like that, any type of natural disaster, they would know who was in which house, how many people were in that house, what their needs were. For example, DeeDee not being able to get around well, being overweight, and I'm not trying to shame her or anything like that, but being overweight, having to care for Gypsy pretending to be in a wheelchair, that's a whole nother conversation. But all of that, they would know all of these things in case a natural disaster was to happen. The article says at the end, the Red Cross kits contain personal items such as toothbrushes, but also work gloves, an emergency blanket, bandages, and other items. The collection boxes for the kits came from the Missouri Department of Conservation Southwest Regional Office, the American Red Cross, Greater Ozarks Chapter, and at Missouri State University, the Political Science Department. The members of the Legacy Trails Neighborhood Association are taking the necessary steps to make their community ready. We are being proactive rather than reactive, says Mark Goss, president of Neighborhood Association. A door-to-door effort will begin in the coming month to educate the residents. The hope is to build a community not only to deal with the immediate impact of a disaster, but then to bring back the community as quickly as possible. And while inviting neighbors to a preparation gathering, Mark points out they'll also help you to get to know each other and be better organized. This is an example for all Ozarkers to follow in achieving resiliency and being good neighbors. So that was the entire article, but the most important part was right here where they interviewed DeeDee, and she said, as a survivor of Hurricane Katrina, she is a preparedness person, and she now has a medicine closet in her house and plans for an emergency. Why was this not used in court when Gypsy and Nick went to court? That's a question that just popped into my head. Like, why was this not used against Gypsy? against the whole Munchausen by proxy thing. Because if you still believe that, and you still believe that Gypsy was being medically abused, and that DeeDee had this whole closet of medications that she used to make Gypsy sick, and then make her better again, and then make her sick again, and back and forth, like someone with Munchausen by proxy would do, or Munchausen syndrome by proxy would do, well, that article, in DeeDee's own words, just debunked that. She was stockpiling these medicines because she was scared. Remember, they lived in the Superdome for a while before DeeDee figured something out and got them a place in Missouri, and they moved to Missouri, to Aurora, Missouri, before they got their Habitat for Humanity house. We don't think, in our opinions, that DeeDee was abusing Gypsy in any type of way. We think it was actually the opposite way around, that Gypsy was the one abusing DeeDee. It's truly sad because Gypsy would always pull DeeDee's hand and arm over to her, or pull DeeDee's arms around her, hold DeeDee's hands around her. We truly think DeeDee loved Gypsy and tried to do everything she could to make Gypsy happy, like most moms and dads would want to do, and give her anything that she wanted, but also find out what was wrong with her little girl and get it solved and get her little girl better. Yeah, they were both running a con. We absolutely believe that. We believe that they were both in on Gypsy being in the wheelchair and looking sick to get money. Rod wasn't paying child support. DeeDee had to support them some kind of way, and she couldn't work. So what are your thoughts and opinions on all of this, and what DeeDee herself had to say about that medicine closet? Again, thank you so much to Audrey for sending us the link to that article. Thank you so much to the person that tagged us in the video over on TikTok. And thank you so much to all of our channel members and to all of our subscribers. We truly appreciate every single one of you so much. We are so grateful to have you. We wouldn't have a channel if it weren't for all of you. So we love and appreciate every single one of you. And if you're not already, please make sure you subscribe, like, share, hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any of our videos. And don't forget to leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below, and we'll be conversating with y'all like always. We just thought this was like a wow kind of moment, and we wanted to bring it to y'all and bring DeeDee's own words to y'all and see what y'all had to say about it and see what y'all thought about it. We wish so badly this could reopen the case and show and prove that DeeDee did not, absolutely did not, have Munchausen syndrome by proxy or fictitious disorder on another, imposed on another. She did not abuse Gypsy in any way or anything like that. We wish that so bad that this could be looked into again. But again, let us know what y'all think, and we'll see y'all in the next one. We hope y'all have a good night, and God bless. Bye.